Alyona, would you like to start by asking Raisa a question?
Unfortunately, my network is working not so fast. It is necessary for watching the video, and I haven't finished the watching of the video. I don't know what about it.
Okay. Anna?
I don't know. Isn't hard for you to show the video about the part of our population who don't know such people like Gogolev or Solzhenitsyn.
So was your question why?
Not why, but isn't short no. First you like part of this population. So we all Russians, not all, but Raisa too, and that is first you.
Jan, did you? I was having some issues hearing all of that. Did you get it?
I did not.
I think, Anna, were you saying how do you feel about the fact that you're part of a generation that does not know so many of its own famous writers? Was that your question?
I can note that I don't think that there is not all of people of my generation, people like that who don't know Gogolev or Solzhenitsyn, but I think that it's not show our culture. But it's don't show our culture, so
Yes. I understand now. Okay, so you're saying it's not very representative of Russian culture and that it portrays everyone as being at least uneducated about classic Russian literature, which is not the case. Yeah. Okay, I see now. Thank you. Irina, do you have a question or a comment for Raisa? Your microphone is muted.
My question is the situation real for the student life?
Okay. I would like to ask that when people are typing on their keyboards, please mute your microphones when you are typing, because otherwise it's very loud and I can't hear people's questions. So I hear typing now. So if you're typing, please mute your microphone. So Irina, please ask again.
Okay, my question is the situation in this video real for your student life?
So if Raisa thinks that this situation is realistic, if it is like real life, yes? Raisa, did you understand the question?
Yeah, if I don't understand.
Okay, I will try to paraphrase it and write it in the chat as well. So she said, in your opinion, is the situation in this video like real life? That is, do average Russians know famous authors or know about famous pieces of Russian literature?
I think that many
fragments or video was cut.
Mhm.
And register
Mhm. Okay.
um, show funny moments or funny moments.
Mhm. Yeah. So maybe there are parts of truth in the video. Doesn't mean that necessarily every Russian doesn't know, but perhaps it's true, at least in your opinion, that many don't. So
okay, I have a question for the group. Isn't this supposed to be funny? I thought it was very funny. And so I want to know, do you think this is funny?
I think it's funny.
So it's funny because everything is exaggerated. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the kinds of humor. So that this is very much like a kind of American humor. It's not to my taste, but there's a lot of this where they show people being stupid or silly. Let's see, there was a whole string of things where the whole point is, how stupid can we be? And some people think it's funny. It's not humor for my generation. But I think that you don't need to be worried about how ignorant people seem. That's just how it is. So, are there any more questions for Raisa? I thought this was very well done, Raisa.
Yeah, very nice.
And so maybe we're ready for the next one.
Okay, so everybody, I copied and pasted Yulia's link in the chat. Now, let's go together and watch Yulia's video. So please click on the link in the chat.
And remember to shut off your mic while you do this. It's very important. Someone I still hear typing.
Yes. And please write us in the chat when you are finished watching. That helps. Is everyone finished watching the students video? Everyone watched the video about the students, right?
Good.
Good. So, Yulia, is this like your life as a student?
Yes, actually it is.
Eating the ramen noodles?
It was 2 years ago, but now I eat normal food.
I'll sometimes eat ramen noodles. It's okay. That's funny. Very nice job. Very nice job. I thought the translations were very nice as well, from the Russian to the English. So were you able to watch this video or not? Anna Kondrina asked where you found this video.
I found it in VK, ВКонтакте,
Okay.
social net.
Yes, yes. Excellent.
And it is actually from their channel, Perets point rules.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd never heard of it before.
It's a Russian channel.
Yeah, yeah. Very nice. Let's ask some other questions about this, please. Any other questions? You can write them, or preferably you can say them. Oh, Dr. Marston asked, what was the hardest thing to translate, in your opinion?
There were some phrases, some words, something like slang. For example, халява in Russian and in English, I was hesitating and I didn't know how to translate it to English, and I translated it free buy. I'm not sure if it's right.
What did you translate it as?
Халява. In Russian, it is халява.
And in English, what was it?
Free buy. When
freebie? Freebie?
Freebie, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I would say that. I would say freebie or free pass.
And so there was also one word. It's in Russian it's фигня.
Yeah.
So, and in English I translated into English stuff. These noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Fast food.
You can also probably use the word crap.
Crap. Oh.
Or you can use that for figня or bean or something like that. We'd say crap. Aren't you going to die from eating that crap? Is what he says to him.
Oh, thank you. I will know.
It's kind of a negative term, but it's not a swear word. It's not mot. It's normal. You could say, if you drop something on the floor, you could say, "Oh crap." You're not going to offend anyone. But yes, you can't say shit. Shit is bad.
Oh yeah. And so, what about the word them?
Them?
Them.
Oh, damn.
Yes, damn.
That is sort of in the middle, I think. It's
in
almost
the middle.
Considered. I'd say it's closer to saying shit than saying crap. You know, crap is softer. It's not as offensive, but damn is almost offensive.
Oh,
you know, where you wouldn't want to say it in front of the child. Instead of saying damn, you would say darn or darn it.
Okay.
So sometimes too, if I drop something on the floor and my son is there, or if I'm here at the university, if I drop something on the floor, I'll say, "Oh darn,"
Okay.
and it's not offensive. Yeah.
It's very mild, and one of the tests is if you would mind hearing it out of the mouth of your 3-year-old child.
True.
So I have a friend who instead of saying shit would say shaving cream, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, everybody knows what he means.
Yeah, because of the sh sound at the beginning.
Also, a lot of people say, instead of saying shit, you can say shoot. Oh, shoot.
Oh, yes.
Oh, shoot. And that's something that a child can say. It's fine, just not shit. So we have these softer words for, you know, like crap and darn and shoot. We have all these softer words for swear words that you won't really get in trouble for saying it.
Mm-hmm.
It is funny. You're right, though. The test of seeing whether or not it's acceptable is what I mind my child saying it. So sometimes my son will go, darn it. He'll say that, yeah.
And now I just, while I was in Texas, I visited my granddaughter. She's 12 years old. And all the girls in her age group will say, oh my God, which is on the edge. When I hear that, I think it could offend some people if they're religious. So, oh my gosh would be fine. Or what my daughter says is, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And you're never going to hear a man say, oh my goodness, because it's too prissy. It's too fey.
Mm.
And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or not. It's not manly. But a woman could say, oh my goodness, and it's harmless. It's a harmless thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you have expressions like that in Russian so that you don't come out with something that is really rude. A word that you just cannot say in polite company while we're talking about this is, and so I'm going to say it, but you as a non-native speaker of English should not say it. You cannot say fuck. And so you're going to hear words that are close to that. Fudge is a good one. An old-fashioned one, and I have a lot of old-fashioned words, is fiddlesticks. It's mildly funny. I've never heard that. I like it. Oh, fudge, that's a good one.
No, that was my typo.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of like it, Carly.
You could probably say. Fudge, fiddlesticks.
So it's one of those things as a non-native speaker of English, no matter how fluent you get to be, it's not okay to use vulgarity because this is so culturally dependent. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say it appropriately. And so maybe after you've lived in the United States for 10 years, you'll know how to do that. But by that time, we hope that you have learned to express yourselves in other ways that can be funny or will communicate the emotional level, the affective level of your speech. Because that's really what swear words do. So you need to be careful of them. But also, I think you need to be informed about them. That's why I've had this little dissertation on this, because it's if somebody swears at you, calls you a name that is vulgar, you need to know not to say, huh? Excuse me, what did you say? I didn't understand that.
Or, thank you, you too.
Yes.
Nice of you.
Oh, it's funny.
So context is very important. Not only just for vulgarity, but you need to know a lot about the situation you find yourself in. So that's one of the reasons why we try to expose you to a variety of paths. And I'm at a real handicap when we have a day like this, because I have to rely entirely on what I understand of your translation. I can't say, well, wouldn't this Russian word express it better, because I don't have very many Russian words. Yet. So I have to ask questions about the subtleties of the differences between the languages, and I guess I look on that as now an advantage. I used to be terribly frustrated by it, but oh well. So has everyone had a chance to present now?
Yes, I believe so. Everyone has now presented their clips and their translations, correct?
I did not.
Oh, Natasha, were you here last time?
I couldn't connect, so I missed one of the meetings. And
okay. Do you have your video on your desktop, or is the video in the blog?
yes, I have loaded the video in the blog, and it's called My Translation of the Video.
Okay. Jan, I can look for that quickly, and
okay.
And I will post the link. There's a lot of them titled My Translation.
The link?
Yeah.
So as you watch this, please try to keep in mind that what questions that you might have about the translations and the difficulties of the translation. And we'll talk about it. And please mute your microphone as we go to listen to it. And pay attention to the time so that we can all come back together.
everyone finished? Sure, Natasha, you can if you would like. That would be nice.
Okay.
Meanwhile, everybody should be thinking of questions to ask Natasha. So was everyone able to watch the video? Did everyone watch?
I'm on the moment when she told that he doesn't get salary. So look on the connection. Sorry.
That's okay.
I can't listen, but of course I can make suggestions about this.
Oh, there it is.
It's the tab at the top that is titled KVN Mom.
Yes, it's the title. It's the title of the video.
Yes. So I want to just looking at the English without the benefit of knowing any Russian. I would be interested in jackasses.
It was the hardest part because it's a swear word, so when I have translated this, I could use two variants, jackasses or goats, and I choose first one because of the meaning, but I had some hesitations because it's informal and this word is not good, I guess. So.
No, I think it's good. I don't know the flavor of the Russian word, and my neighbors are 4 young college guys, and they might say that word, but it's more likely that they would say something else. What do you think, Carly?
That they would say jackasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like a word that a young college guy might use. You can call someone a jackass if they're being silly or stupid or foolish, or they've done something foolish. You can call them a jackass. Of course, it's kind of like swear. You would only want to say that amongst friends again, because you would insult someone otherwise, because ass, again, is a bad word, usually, except in certain contexts, obviously. Yeah.
And And probably this is another gender issue. Probably no one would call a woman or a group of women a jackass or jackasses. Maybe at least that's my experience. Bimbos, yeah. Not a word that's in my vocabulary any longer because I try not to use words that demean women. So you're always going to get that from me because I'm a feminist. So a bimbo, yes, we used to talk about dumb blondes too. Or and something that you might hear that could relate to both men or women, but usually a woman will be an airhead, a person that instead of having brains in her head has air. So you might say, oh, she's a real airhead. This is not something that anyone would ever say about Carly, however. No one's ever called you an airhead, have they, Carly?
Perhaps not since I was 13 years old or something, when I was well, I probably was giggling like an airhead.
Yes, okay. That's true. Airheads giggle.
But so when I was a teenager, maybe, but no, not since. Now I would consider that to be a pretty big insult.
Yeah. Yeah, air instead of a brain. Okay, so jackasses. So what is the source of the humor? What's funny here?
In the cartoon, right, Jen?
Oh, no, not in the cartoon, in the translation that we were looking at.
Oh, and
about mom.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're looking at it and thinking about why it's funny. I personally find this very funny because my father is completely computer illiterate. I don't think my father knows how to send an email. I really don't. I love my father. I absolutely love him to death, but I don't think he knows anything about computers. So why is this funny?
My mom is she knows very well our Russian social net contact, and she did now because we live secretly with my parents now, and they miss, and the mom looks photos, looks news, latest news, and sometimes it seems to me that she knows more about news of my friends and their photos than I, because I have not so much time for sitting in contact, but she's an accountant, and she's working, and one part of the screen is her work, and the other part of the screen, my photo on my main page in the social net, and my mom is speaking and looking. And the most funny thing that when I visit my home and I go home and for meeting parents, contact is open too. And I also see my photos and the same things while I'm with them. I'm sure that the similar things that contact, Facebook, and other things. Um, people people are getting to use it. And it seems to me sometimes that he can't she can't without it. I don't know why, but she's really interested in it.
I know exactly what you mean. Does anybody else have any interesting stories or anything about parents and technology, perhaps parents and Facebook, parents and to contact you?
Oh, yes. 4 years ago, I arrived in Omsk city. Before I lived in Pavlodar, Kazakhstan. So that is why my mother had to learn how to use the computer, especially Skype, to communicate with me. So it was really very difficult. She asked me, firstly she phoned me by the mobile telephone. She asked me, Yuda, how to switch on the computer, how to switch on the Skype. And so only then we tried to communicate with each other. And so some days ago, my mother had a birthday, and my sister gave her a sensor mobile telephone. And so my mother was trying to send me a message from this sensor mobile telephone for 2 days. For 2 days, and she could hardly do it because technical progress is going very fast, and so our parents, they just can't learn it very fast as we can. So they need a lot of time to get used to it and to learn how to use it.
Yes, I certainly agree with that. What about anybody else's mother or father in computers? Natasha says she has the same situation. Natasha, do your parents know how to use Skype? Are they good at using Skype?
Yes, now my parents know about the Skype and how to use the internet, but it's been for a while. I mean, when I only moved to the Omsk, it was the first time when I needed to communicate with parents by Skype. So I had to teach them how to use it, and it was not easy at all, and actually it was funny sometimes because it's really hard to explain which exactly window you should click or something like this. So and sometimes my mother calls me and asks some questions about maybe antivirus or different programs, and it's always not easy and funny. So.
Yeah, it's always slightly funny, but slightly frustrating as well.
Yes, but
frustrating.
I like my mom, so
yes.
Beauty to explain.
Yes. I was very impressed once because when I was in Azerbaijan, I received an email from my grandmother. My grandmother is 90 years old, 90. She is 90 years old. And I was so impressed because my grandmother sent me an email. There were no punctuation marks. There were no capital letters. It was just everything, a giant run-on sentence, but it was the cutest thing. Oh, honey, I'm just trying to figure out how to use the computer. I bet you're laughing at me right now. Ha ha. And it was very sweet, very endearing. And I have never received an email from my father, and I likely will never receive an email from my father because he has no idea. Computers scare him. basically.
I have a sort of a reverse situation because I love computers. I love technical toys. I'm inseparable from my iPhone, and I took very few clothes when I went to Texas. Everything fit into a small bag that would fit under my seat. And then I took my computer, my iPad, and my iPhone because those are my tools. And I don't go anywhere without them. So they were heavier together. Those three things were heavier than my bag with my clothes in it. So I guess it's pretty hard to. I just don't travel without my toys. But my daughter and I do not talk with Skype because she doesn't like to sit in front of a computer. She says she does that enough with her job, and she can't make it work very well. And let's see, I'm 70. She just turned 44, and I'm helping her with her technology. And I have a brother, an older brother, who would not ever, he would be an absolute hermit if he didn't have an iPhone. He only communicates with his phone, and he gets, but his grandkids have gotten him to do FaceTime. So, and that's kind of like Skype. Although I would never tell him that because he would be scared. So as long as he can get somebody to help him with his phone, he's good. He doesn't have a computer. He doesn't send email. Fortunately, he still has somebody else who can send any necessary email or other electronic connections that he has to do. But, you know, at our house, most of our bills are paid wirelessly, and I expect to be pretty paperless by the, you know, by the end of the, well, pretty soon. We're pretty paperless now. I do make a few paper notes, but generally, I'm about the techiest person that I know right now, except for, let's see, Professor Shestakov is pretty much up to speed on a techie, but he does everything well. So, and Carly, I think you're pretty technical too. Is that right?
Oh, it depends, I suppose. Depends on the day. Sometimes I would rather just kick my computer when it's giving me problems. But yes, I'm not the techiest person I know, but I'm not too bad, I suppose.
So this is an important thing. If you've gotten to the point where you want to kick the machine, that's very good. That's a step in the right direction.
Yes, perhaps.
It used to be that I helped a lot of other faculty members with their computers, and one thing that I noticed was the men always blamed the machine. The men would always say, "This stupid machine," and the women would always say, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't get this machine to work."
Yeah, so the women would blame themselves and their own abilities, but the men would just blame the equipment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and quite often they would have the same problem with the computer. They just men didn't take responsibility for the failure of the machine, and the women did. And this is not just American women, but others that I helped. So for women, I often said, the first thing I would say when I came to help them is, first of all, this is not your fault. I never would say that to a man, because he already knew it wasn't his fault.
Of course. That's true that it could be men from any culture as well, because actually I was thinking about this the other day. My boyfriend, who is a Finn, so he is from Finland, he was on the computer and he discovered that there was no sound. Magically, no sound on YouTube, and he said, "Did you mess with my computer? Did you mute something? Did you download something?" And I said, "No, I did not." And he said, "Well, it was working fine yesterday. I don't know why it's not working." And I said, "Quit blaming me. I did not do anything wrong." And then later, like 2 hours later, he said, "Well, I fixed it." And I said, "How did you do that?" And he said, "I had it muted." My headphones were muted. And I said, "Thank you. Yes." Instead of blaming me for your technical issues. It's always something like that, I tell you. So if there's anybody else who has an interesting story, I would like to hear some of the other students' perspectives on perhaps men and women in technology, or your parents, your grandparents in technology. If you have any funny stories. I don't think we have heard from Anna Kondrina or Irina or Nadia or Raisa. Let's try to hear a little bit from you guys as well. It could be anything that comes to mind. Let's start at the top of the list then. Alyona, did you tell us your perspective about this?
I thought about my mom's skills on computer.
That's right. Yes, that's right. You did. Thank you. Anna, you.
I don't have funny stories, but now I teach my mom to do computer. And maybe what's funny, that my cat likes to be near on the table when I work on computer. Like now, she lies on the table now. Maybe you saw it. Now she lies here.
Oh.
She likes to lie near computer, or maybe on
Maybe on your important papers by your computer?
Papers, maybe papers. I think a keyboard, yes. On keyboard, she likes to write on keyboard.
Of course. I think that's a universal trait of cats, is that when you're on the computer, they want to be right there with you in front of your screen or laying on your keyboard. When I do research, I'd have my papers everywhere. My cat would come plop down right on the paper I was reading. So it's not always men or women. Sometimes it's our animals.
Yes, my animals are very problematic. As a matter of fact, I don't know if either of my cats have joined us in this class, but quite often one of my cats or the other will suddenly appear on camera. They like walking on the keyboard, and generally the world revolves around the cat.
Oh, yes. And Irina?
And I am talking with my dad on Skype when we are not near, but I think I was lucky because my parents use computer as well, and they do not sit in social networks. Some of my friends complain that their parents sit in the networks occasions, but I don't have this problem because my parents are working on computers and they tired of the home at home. And also my daughter loves to do my homework at the notebook with me and listen to music with me.
Yeah. So at least you don't have the issue with your parents on contact you and Facebook and things like that. But
Yeah.
I sometimes have that problem with my mother. I'll be talking to my mother sometimes, and she'll be on her phone, and I say, "How rude! What are you doing? Put your phone away." Oh, I just can't believe what so-and-so wrote on Facebook. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? What are they doing? I think they're crazy. And I said, "You're spending too much time on Facebook. You're addicted." It's interesting when that happens. Now let's hear from Nadia. Your microphone is muted. There you go.
Yes. Are you listening?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have no funny stories because my parents rarely use computer. I live with him, with there.
You live with them?
Yes, I live with them, and they have no need to connect it with me by Skype. But I was really surprised when my grandmother said that she and her friend use Skype, and they, grandmother and her neighborhood, they connected with their friends who lived in another country. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's always impressive. I would be surprised by that too. So do you ever have to help your parents since you live with them, do they ever ask your help to type things, to write things, to do things on the internet?
Yes, but not internet. I am helping my parents with office programs, with this telephone.
Yeah.
When we need to do some photo, it's me who did it.
Oh, so jealous.
What about me? I have some problems with my touch phone. When I talk, sometimes my touch phone behave like it's. I have no word.
Sorry? Oh, something funny is happening with the sound.
Okay. Are you listening?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Sometimes my phone behaving like independence. They call to my friend. It's call to my friend, and yeah. I can control it.
Yes, this is another interesting phenomenon that happens with cell phones, especially touch phones, and we have a word for this. It's kind of slang. So when your phone calls somebody by itself, you didn't call the person, but your phone calls them. Maybe it's in your pocket, maybe it's in your purse. We call that either pocket dialing or butt dialing, or pocket dialing. Usually that's happened to almost everyone, where I'll get a phone call from my brother and I'm just listening, hello, hello, and I hear the radio going and I say, he butt dialed me. Like he called me by accident or his phone called me. So that's some interesting things that, Jan, which one do you use? Do you use butt dialing or pocket dialing?
I use butt dialing, but I try not to talk about it.
Yeah. It's just like, because you're accidentally, if it's in your pocket, you might bump something. Yeah.
So can I ask, we say dialing when we would like want to say that we have a call somebody?
Yeah, well, it's so say I have my phone in my pocket. I have my phone in my pocket, and I accidentally call someone because I touched something on my phone. So I'm not meaning to call someone, but it's an accident. I accidentally call them. And so the person picks up the phone and says, hello, hello, and I'm not there because I didn't mean to call them. So I don't know they're talking to me. So that's why we would call that butt dialing or pocket dialing, like dialing from your pocket, something like that. Another thing that Nadia's comments made me think about too was, in terms of technology and parents and family members, was cameras and mothers or aunts. I say aunts, but perhaps many people pronounce it aunts. Mothers or aunts. When you put a mother or an aunt with a camera, it's just a bad idea. A bad idea. And no one ever sees the pictures. Where did the pictures go?
Oh, yeah.
See? What do you think, Yulia?
I think that our mothers and our parents using camera, they are not considered to be professional photographers. So that's why they have some problems with horizon, with blacks,
or putting their finger in front of the camera.
I have a lot of photos in my photo album with the fingers, and but it's really it's cute to look at these photos and remember that time. It's the kind of nostalgia when you remember at what moment your mama put this finger on the photograph.
Yeah, it's cute, but it's frustrating too, because when you're sitting there and you're smiling, because we Americans, we have to smile in every picture. You're smiling and we're seriously going, take the picture, take the picture. We do that, really. And then, wait, just one more. And then click, oh, I didn't get it, it's blurry. Oh, one more, hold still, just stay there. And it's the most frustrating thing in the entire world.
Oh, yes. There are lots of pictures of me when I just get tired of smiling all the time, and I go,
yeah.
And they take the picture. Just take the picture. Not a good thing.
Yes. Oh, I have aunts that are absolutely just notorious for doing that. When they get the cameras out, you just want to run the other direction. Definitely. So
one of the members of our teaching team, Professor Lero, is a wonderful photographer. And so when we had this meeting in Texas, he took all the pictures. So I didn't have to say, oh gosh, I want one of those too, because I knew that Professor Lero would send pictures documenting the whole trip.
That's amazing.
And yeah, that was really nice. So then no problems with my having ant-like behavior, although I think I don't usually.
One more comment, I guess, before we move on to Professor Marston was going to introduce our next theme, which is politics. But I just noticed one thing in our dialogue. Does anybody have an alternate translation? Because I can think of what it is in Russian. Does anybody have an alternate translation for how you would say this? How would you? What would your translation be? Does anybody else have an idea?
I know only phrase I'm embarrassed, but it is not like activism. It has the other sense, a little other sense. Activism means that you hope that somebody understands that he or she behaves wrongly, behave not like a polite person, and maybe he or she feels better.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's implying that someone should feel shame. Yulia wrote in the chat very nicely, shame on you. Shame on you. It's almost as if you're scolding or you're reprimanding someone. So I also wrote, you should be ashamed of yourself, or shame on you. It was otherwise saying, Mom, you aren't ashamed, are you? It has a different intonation than saying, shame on you. You should be ashamed of yourself. But I agree, it's a very close, the meaning, I definitely understood your meaning, Natasha. It was very clear.
Okay.
It was very clear. It's just something I noticed quickly because I used to wonder this myself, or how would I translate that? Yeah, so it's just a little minor difference, but it's interesting. Shame on you.
It's to use the phrase shame on you, but I don't know why, but I choose the first one.
Yeah, sometimes we second guess ourselves, and that happens. But I also have a question for you as well. In an everyday setting, say for example, if a man says something to you on the street, saying like something about, oh, how beautiful you are, or maybe an offensive remark, could you say to him, shame on you, but in Russian, or would he think that this was kind of a joke? Because I said this to someone once. I said this to someone in Russia, and I said it to someone in Azerbaijan, and they laughed. And I thought I was supposed to be saying, shame on you. You should be ashamed of yourself. And they thought it was funny. So would they think it was funny if you said it to them? Or would they actually feel ashamed? What do you think? Or maybe it was just funny because I said it and I'm a foreigner. I don't know.
This is an important question. This is an important question.
What were you thinking?
I have got two variants for how to answer to this question. The first one, I think that people laugh or they consider it to be a joke because when they are laughing, they prevent themselves from this shame. So maybe when you go out and they stop for a while and think, oh, maybe I have done something wrong or something like this. It's the first variant. The second variant, that Russian people don't understand and don't assume, except the critics from a side. They can listen to their relatives, but if a person from the street, if a person on the street says to him, shame on you, it doesn't matter, and so it doesn't So he will don't think about it as serious. He will don't consider it to be serious. So that's why he will laugh.
Okay, that's really interesting. Anybody else? I'd like to hear some other thoughts on this. Or what would you say? What would you say instead of shame on you?
I agree with you there. I don't like when somebody from the street starts critiquing critics or start not to say me that I misbehave, and I think that I'm a polite person enough, and I don't misbehave on the street, and when somebody doesn't like my behavior, maybe it's necessary to think about themselves, behavior themselves, about their behavior, and I think that polite people won't show the disadvantages of other people in a public way, and it's not polite too. Maybe the person who gave this замечание, this phrase "shame on you" has does mistake. Maybe it happened accidentally, and she or he or knew that maybe all people are different, and they feel critics in another way too, a different way, and some persons will feel these critics very deeply.
Yeah, they would really feel that criticism and take offense at it. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you guys for those explanations, two very in-depth explanations. So I'm going to let Professor Marston tell you a little bit about next week's theme. So we finished with humor this week, and we'll be starting something new next week.
And that is the broad topic is called politics. And if you will look in the chat, I have pasted in the entire assignment for next time. So I think you'll get an email about this, but in the meantime, if you can, as you leave the session, save the chat, you will be able to have all of this assignment right away. We'll probably spend the next 3 sessions on politics, and that is the political culture of the United States, how it works, and the current stalemate in Congress. And this little cartoon, do as we say or we'll destroy America, will become clearer if it isn't clear to you already. And as we begin to explore the basis for governing in the United States, we will look briefly at some basic documents and structures. So for our first session on politics, which is actually October 16, not the 15th, please read or listen to the following assignments. For each of these 6 items, be prepared to ask a question of substance, something you don't understand or an element that you observe that is different from similar political documents in your own country. If you prefer, you can write a short summary of each resource and be prepared to read it aloud in class. So the documents that we're going to look at are chiefly from the Wikipedia in English, and they include the Declaration of Independence, the preamble to the Constitution, a piece about the 3 branches of the U.S. government, and something called the balance of powers, a little bit about the Supreme Court, and something short about how federal laws are made in Congress. And so some of these are text, and those are the ones in the Wikipedia, but we also have some from Schoolhouse Rock. Carly, are you familiar with Schoolhouse Rock? Did you grow up listening to it?
Yes, I remember some Schoolhouse Rock.
So, and those are going to be videos. And one is about governmental structure, and one is about how laws are made. It's called I'm Just a Bill. Do you know the second line, Carly? I'm just a bill.
No, I don't.
Okay. Professor Smith knows the second line. It goes, I think, up there on Capitol Hill.
Okay.
So you're going to get some listening practice and some reading practice as we go ahead. And in the following session, we will explore the Bill of Rights, which is the first set of amendments to the Constitution, with special attention to the Second Amendment, which is about the right to bear arms. And then we'll talk about voting rights, voter fraud, and voter suppression. All these are part of the living development of our Constitution and our form of government, which is under attack now. So this is a very good time to be looking at this. And we're way out of time now, and I'm sorry we've run a little bit late. And we'll look forward to you next week, talking about these things next week. Please look for this assignment in email, but also save it out so you can go ahead and get started on it. I will ask you, if you choose to write to get ready for this, I'm likely to ask you to write, to paste what you've written into the chat. So we'll look forward to hearing from you and how it strikes you. Any questions before we close? Okay. This has been a really good session. And thanks to everybody.
Well, and thank you for your comments in class today, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Carly. This was great.